Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to tonight's podcast. My name is Patricia Tomlinson, and I'm your host for this evening. I am so excited about this subject that I am about to get into with you in a couple moments. But before I do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to link up with me on Instagram and Facebook. On Instagram, I'm underscore Patricia Tomlinson. On Facebook, I'm just simply Patricia Tomlinson, all the same thing, just to make it a little bit easier. Also, do not forget to listen to or go and check out my latest blogs. I've had some wonderful subjects and conversations with some men that have been interested in giving their opinion pertaining to things that happen to men that go unheard of or unsaid. So, check that out at Patricia's blog at wordpress.com. Also, do not forget that recently I have relaunched my latest book, Succumb, The Ending to the Beginning. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on this content. It took me 10 years to glean all the wisdom that was needed to write this book. So trust me, it is worth your purchase. It is worth every dollar. It is worth every moment that you're going to take, which I know is precious to you in regards to time, to sit down and read it. Trust me, you're going to learn something. You're going to gain some wisdom or insight pertaining to your life. The beautiful thing about this book is that it's not only for women. There are some nuggets and information for you guys as well, for you men as well, that you can take and share with somebody else. After all, isn't that what we're here for? To share the good news with somebody? So, welcome. When you are done with this podcast, do not forget to share it with somebody. Do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to leave feedback and comment. So, what is the subject that I am so excited to talk to you guys about today? So, the name of this podcast is going to be called The Eagle's Flight. So, normally in the morning, I have about a 20 to 25-minute commute to work. I take this time to pray, to get my mind together, to prepare to go in for the workday. And today my schedule changed. So, of course, I got there a little bit early, which is always good. So, as I was sitting in the car, I did a small snippet version of a video that I was going to upload to Instagram this morning. It was basically telling about different friendships. At the moment, I did not release that podcast, but I didn't understand why. It was because during the day, I got more insight and revelation in regards to that smaller portion of that video that I wanted to do, which led me to actually do this one this evening. So, the most ironic part is when I was coming home, I know that this bird was not an eagle. Okay, it wasn't an eagle, it wasn't a bald eagle. However, it was a bird. And when I thought about the title, Eagle's Flight, for some reason, I look up on the highway coming home, and it is a bird literally soaring so gracefully, so lighthearted, and just seemed unbothered and unmoved, not even by the elements of the cold and the snow or anything else that was going on, not the traffic, not the hundreds of thousands of cars that were moving up and down the highway. This bird, whatever bird it was unbothered. So, let's get into it. So, the eagle's flight. We understand that there are different seasons that come and occur in people's lives. For some reason, believe that I have been in a transition for the past 5 months. It always starts around fall time. Things start falling off. People start falling off. Places start falling off. I always say if you can get away from people, places, and things, you are in a good position. So at the time, it was October. I was starting some new things. I didn't quite understand, but I know that the transition was hard. I was not where I was going yet, but I wasn't where I was prior to starting in the transition. So we're about mid-February at this time. So this started about mid-October. So of course we know that we have the season in the wintertime when everything looks dead, it looks drab, no vegetation or any fruit seems like they seem to be growing. Nothing seems to be happening. You guys, this is so detrimental to me because around December, it is my birthday. So just imagine how I feel on my birthday. I'm getting new revelation for the new season. However, there is nothing occurring in my life that looks remotely like what I'm going to be going into. And that's a lot of times what transitions do. They trick you. They trick you up and you end up going back to something, someplace, or someone that you should not be around. That is not what is meant to happen. Whenever you get a vision for your life, you are meant to write it out and you are meant to stay the course and persevere. You are meant to be steadfast. You are not meant to waver. Okay, this is why it is good to have a vision board. This is why it is good to have clear and concise either directions and or steps that you're going to take to obtain this goal. Do not get me wrong. When you are walking and you can't see things visibly, they are not in your plain view at that time, you still should keep making forward strides because you're going to end up at that place. So when I thought about the transition, okay, you're not where you were, you're not where you're going yet. It's like you're in the middle, okay? And I noticed that a lot of things fell off, okay? And I didn't understand that. Some of the things that fell off were very, very, very hard for me to let go of. But I knew what God was saying. I knew He was telling me that I had to do it. I knew that He preferred me to do it. And I also, you know how you are, when you're out and about, you need direction. Sometimes it could come through a poster board. It could come through, sometimes I actually get mine through license plates. It was so funny when I was down in Columbus visiting for a vacation. I looked at this license plate and it literally said, "I'm grown." And that made me laugh because I did feel like I had a new stride of adulthood and maturity in my life on that particular day. Nevertheless, during this time, a lot of things were falling off. And what I want to say about that is when you have a new vision and a goal for your life, old weight, dead situations, circumstances, and relationships have to fall off. Okay. It is not comfortable when you first start because those people that were in your life, those things that may have satiated or caused relief, will no longer suffice in your next season, in your next mission, in your next job, in your next relationship. Whatever goal it is that you're going for, it is not going to work. So they fall off. And it is because when you go to your next level, when you go to your next dimension, those things which held you in that previous are not going to help you in your next. Okay. That's just like a person that is an addict or has been traumatized. Okay. They decide that, okay, I don't want to be a person that's an addict anymore. What do? They decide I need to stay away from these people. I don't need to go to these places. I don't need to do these things. Okay. Another example, a woman that is in a relationship. Maybe the previous one was abusive. I don't want to talk to this person anymore. Maybe I don't want to go to the same places anymore. I don't want to hang around the same associations anymore. Starting a business, if you were an employee going into a business, or maybe you're doing both at the same time, you know that you need more discipline, you need to get more rest, so you're up and ready for when the time comes that you need to take care of things. Because when you're a business owner, nobody actually makes you do your business. Like one of my friends, she gave me a great analogy. She said, when you have an employee, you go to work to make money. She said, when you are a business owner, you have to go and find work for the money to come to you. So that's a little bit more discipline. It's a little bit more diligence, steadfastness that you need in order to attain those goals. When you think about when your season changes, the weight and the burden that you have to carry in your next time of life, in that next season, maybe you're going to go back to college. Maybe in this season you're going to have children or you're going to get married. The weight of your burden that you have to carry increases. And some people can't handle that. And this is why I firmly understand now why it is imperative for us as people to be able to let people go, because they're not going to be able to handle it. Your weight might increase. Sometimes your stress level may increase. Sometimes you're more tired. Sometimes you're a little bit more cranky. And you might need a person, a confidant there to talk to you about it. Therefore, they're able to handle you and treat you right and speak gentle words to you. Whereas the person from the last season, depending on what you were dealing with, may get frustrated in your new adventures, mandates, and commissions on your life. Some people can't handle that when you get these new things. And so things may happen, circumstances may happen, and inevitably it will push you two away from each other. It will separate you. But you have to understand that even in that time of separation, you are never without what you need. There are so many resources, so many people, so many new connections, associations, and networks that you can make when you let the old things go. I am literally living this right now. And for discretion purposes, I will not release everything, but I will literally tell you that there is a momentum taking place as you let go and shed dead weight, people, places, and things, habits, or mindsets that will not aid you in this next season. You're going to take the ego's flight. If you think about it, it can literally be people that are weighing you down. Okay, so you have to make the determining factor. If you want to soar, if you want to fly gracefully without any strain, anything pulling you down, you have to make the decision that you're going to let these things go. When I think about the ego, I think about weightless height, which leads to victory. And what do I mean by that? Weightless height. Okay, so when the ego is about to take flight, its wings mount up, which means that it puts its wings in the air to flap down, which is actually going to help it propel up and forward. Okay. Weightless. If this ego has bricks, which can be people's problems, if it has boulders, which can be your own anxiety, fear, lack of faith, or motivation, if it has strings, which can be your mentality of what you have about your life and how it's going to go, your outlook and your perspective. If it has chains, which would be bondage, things that you can't let go of, insecurities you can't get past, or any of those things holding it down, it cannot get to the optimal altitude that it needs to get to. If you take some of the weight off, meaning other people's business, issues, drama, and chaos, you will feel lighter. And what I equate that to is I noticed that, as well as myself, a lot of people battle with codependency, which is when you take on other people's issues and problems as if they are your own, to the point where you are not able to focus and or navigate through your life to create and maintain a level of success. Meaning, you always and perpetually get weighed down by other people, their issues, their problems, even conversations. I kid you not, I was somewhere today and I was just listening and I was observing, and I heard a lady say that just from listening to a woman tell her story or go back and forth or however she was in regards to sharing the information, she was drained. An ego does not have time to sit there and let someone continue to go circulatorily or just in cycles about their lives, things that are weighing them down. You have to make stern decision. Eagles, when I think about it, I mean, they're not my favorite creature or anything like that, but for some reason, I have developed a love for the eagle. For one, they fly alone. Once they get up there, they soar and it's so graceful. And to watch them, it's the most beautiful experience. I've had a couple times where I've been in different places and saw different birds just gliding so gracefully and effortlessly. I mean, once they hit that first flap or whatever you want to call it in regards to when their wings go down and it propels them and thrusts them, it lasts them for a good minute. The wind is beneath their wings. They are not focused on circumstances, meaning the weather, chaos, meaning traffic, or storms around them. Eagles can actually weather the storm. When I also think about eagles, they have a time from when they're actually in the womb, birthed, then they grow, and then they're able to fly to altitude. That made me think about being as a child. And when you have childhood trauma, like say for instance, you have been molested or raped or abandoned by your parents or rejected by your family, or you suffer from isolation or suicide or a number of things. It is very hard as an eagle to take those burdens up in the air with you. If you think about it, air, you can fall through air depending on if you're heavy. So the purpose of us understanding this podcast about the ego's flight is to get you light-hearted, light in your mind as far as how you think, how you process information, how your perspective as far as life, to get you light, no weight, so that you're able to soar through life. Eagles, they have taken the time as children, or let's just say baby eagles, to shake off all the extra weight as an adult so they can gracefully soar. So, with that being said, on this podcast, which was very brief, I don't think that it took forever for me to explain this to you. What I want to convey and help you understand and to digest and put in your mind is that egos take flight because they've done the work. They have prepared themselves in order to be able to mount up. Mount up, meaning they are ready to soar, meaning that they have released and let go of any type of baggage, anything that will prevent them from going to a new altitude. If you think about it, to be on the ground, that is foundation. That is ground zero. That is where a lot of us start. And sometimes underneath our foundation, there are things, circumstances, mindsets, ideas, relationships that have dug roots and chains and put strings on us that prevent us from being able to move forward. But if you think about the eagle, they have no baggage, no chains, no strings, no boulders, bricks, or bondage holding them down. So today I want you to take a couple perspectives from this podcast as we're about to wrap up. I want you to think about what issues are currently going on in your life that are preventing you from soaring. Is it a relationship that you need to let go of? Is it a habit that you need to let go of? Is it a mindset of how you think about yourself, the world, society, other people that you need to let go of? Is it a time in your life that you were very desperate and you did some things that you shouldn't have that you need to let go of? Is it a time in your life where you can't forgive yourself for some things that you know you should have did but you didn't? Either way, I want you to listen to me. There's a time for everything. There's a time to let go of things. There's a time to hold on. There's a time to love, to hate. There's a time to cry. There's a time to smile. However, I believe there's always a time to let go of heaviness. Is depression holding you down? Anxiety, fear, lack of faith? Do you still have trauma from your childhood that you need to let go of? Do you have unforgiveness or regret? Whatever your issue is, I always tell people when I talk to them, you are not the problem. You have a problem. Because when you get to the point where you want to heal and you are better, you actually let the problem go. So when we think about the eagle today and the flight that it needs to take and the momentum to reach the altitude that it needs to, it cannot do so if it is way down. So with that being said, I want you to think about some ways and or methods that you can help yourself to cope in life, as well as shake off some of the heaviness that you're carrying. I really, really, really want you guys to understand that as you listen to this podcast, mentally at this moment, because of everything that is going on in society, in the world, people are literally falling under the weight of what's going on in their mind daily, mentally. If there are things that you need to do to get these things off of you, there are so many things that you can do. And in my book, Succumb, if you purchase the book, you will see that the character Vanessa had a lot of things weighing her down. However, she found ways to cope. She found ways to not just survive, to thrive. She found ways to get away from people, places, and things that were of no benefit to her. She found a new life. She lived a life that she probably should not have lived because of the circumstances that she came from. She finally got to the point where she took the eagle's flight and soared. And that is the message for today, ladies and gentlemen. Do not forget to subscribe to the podcast. Do not forget to share this with somebody else. Do not forget to share the good news. I mean, people are really going through it at this point in time. You know, a lot of people are not happy, a lot of people are miserable. But through social media, there is a portrayal that seems as though everything is okay because we take a picture, which is just a second of what's going on in our lives and in our lifetime. So make someone smile today. You know, if you're smiling, smile with somebody else or smile at somebody. I know a lot of times when I'm walking around, I'll just give this smile and to make other people smile. Do something else for somebody else. Do something for yourself. So into yourself. Whatever you have to do, make sure that you take the eagle's flight. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me today for this podcast. It was definitely impromptu, it was not planned. However, I'm always happy to share some type of information in regards to your life and how it can be better. Do not forget to link up with me on social media. Instagram is underscore Patricia Tomlinson. On Facebook, it's just Patricia Tomlinson. Don't forget the blog, which is Patricia's blog at WordPress. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. And most importantly, you guys, do not forget to take the opportunity to purchase the books that come on Amazon. If you are interested in doing so, please DM me or personal message me. And there is a link for my email where you can connect with me through any platform. And I'll be willing to give you let's just say a special. If you really want to know how to take the Eagle's flight, you're interested, I will definitely look into doing something special for some of you guys that have or will reach out to me. Thank you to the ones that have already purchased the book. It just brings my heart such joy to be able to write such content and help people in a storyline. So, have a good evening, everybody. Do something for yourself and don't forget to share the good news. Have a good night, everybody.